In the bright lagoon of the zoo, where the water shimmered like glass and reeds swayed in the soft breeze, lived the little flamingo. His feathers were pale pink, not yet as brilliant as the older flamingos whose wings glowed in deep shades of rose and coral. His legs were long and thin, but he wobbled when he tried to stand on one, and more often than not, he tumbled back into the shallow water with a splash. The other flamingos balanced gracefully, resting on one leg for hours while visitors admired their elegance. The little flamingo lowered his head, embarrassed by his stumbles, wishing he could be as steady as the rest. Every morning, the keepers scattered food across the water. The older flamingos dipped their beaks in smooth rhythm, filtering the water with practiced grace. The little flamingo tried to copy them, but he splashed too much, stirring up the sand. The children outside the fence laughed kindly at his clumsy attempts, but the little flamingo thought their laughter meant he was failing. He believed he was too awkward, too unsteady, to ever be admired. Yet inside, the little flamingo carried something special. He was patient and observant. While the others stood proudly, he noticed the dragonflies that skimmed across the surface, the fish that darted below, and the clouds that mirrored in the still water. He watched the world carefully, even when he doubted himself. One warm afternoon, a dragonfly became trapped on the water, its wings too wet to fly. The little flamingo bent low and gently lifted it with his beak, placing it safely on a reed. The dragonfly dried its wings and flew away. The little flamingo realized that even his awkward beak could be gentle. The next day, a breeze blew across the lagoon. A small feather floated on the water, drifting toward the fence. The little flamingo waded after it, his legs wobbling, but he managed to catch it and lift it onto a rock where a sparrow quickly gathered it for its nest. His clumsy steps had still brought help. Later in the week, dark clouds gathered, and rain fell heavily. The water level rose quickly, pushing floating food away from the younger flamingos. The little flamingo paddled clumsily but reached the drifting pieces and nudged them back toward the group. Though he slipped in the current, he kept going until everyone was fed. His unsteady legs had carried kindness. As the days passed, the zoo prepared for the Festival of Colors, a celebration of the most vibrant animals. The parrots would sing, the peacocks would fan their feathers, and the flamingos were expected to stand in a great line, showing their beauty and grace. The little flamingo grew nervous. His feathers were pale, his balance unsteady. He imagined himself falling in front of everyone and felt his courage fading. But he remembered the dragonfly, the sparrow, and the young flamingos. He thought of how his clumsy movements had still brought help, how his gentle beak had carried life. Perhaps his worth was not in standing perfectly, but in caring quietly. When the day of the festival arrived, lanterns glowed across the zoo, and music echoed through the air. Families gathered at the lagoon, pointing eagerly at the flamingos. The older birds lined up in rows, balancing proudly on one leg, their feathers shining pink in the evening light. The little flamingo stepped into place, his heart racing. He lifted one leg and wobbled, nearly tumbling. The crowd held its breath. Then he steadied himself, slowly and carefully. He swayed a little, but he stayed standing. The children clapped softly, cheering for his effort. As he wobbled again, a breeze lifted through the lagoon, and his reflection shimmered in the water. The lantern light made his pale feathers glow softly, like a petal on the surface. The visitors pointed, smiling at the gentle beauty of the smallest flamingo. The zookeeper spoke to the crowd, explaining that young flamingos need time to grow their color and strength, but their patience and effort are part of their beauty. The families nodded, admiring the little flamingo not for perfection, but for courage. As the festival ended, the little flamingo lowered his leg and stood with the others, his heart glowing with pride. He no longer felt ashamed of his pale feathers or his wobbly stance. He understood that growing takes time, and that kindness and courage shine even before perfection arrives. From that day forward, visitors often asked to see him, the flamingo who had stumbled but always tried again.